Karthik, we can begin.
It's a gloomy day anyway.
We are live, ma'am.
Okay. Bonjour tout le monde. A very good afternoon to all of you. And on va organiser la première lecture avec Ms. Shubhra Sharma de Campus France. We have Ms. Shubhra Sharma with us from Campus France. And elle va parler sur les bourses, the different kind of scholarships. Vous avez les occasions de faire les études supérieures. You also have the opportunities for doing higher studies in France. So she's going to share some very important information with you, which can help you in your higher studies. And for this, je voudrais remercier notre directeur, Professor Gopa, notre université au Jindal. Many thanks to our director, Professor Gopa, and to our university for providing this platform, which gives wings to our students to do higher education in France, especially to those who are learning French here with us. So I hand over first to Dr. Gopa to say a few words, and then I would like Shubhra to take over. Merci.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, students, for coming here. Thank you, Subhra, for taking the initiative to talk to our students, and thank you, Navriti, for your ever expanding enthusiasm in bringing all kinds of stuff to Global Languages Center. Really thankful to everyone here. And Subhra, just for your information and just for our students, this video recording will be shared by our students all over the university, and maybe hopefully beyond that also. So it is, it is an information on how people can avail of opportunities, including scholarships and admission procedures to go to any French university. So I hope it will be benefiting all of you. If you have questions, please put them in the chat box. I would like it to be an interactive sessions. You have doubts, feel free, don't hesitate. Please feel free to ask anyone if you have any, kind of queries or just interest or curiosity, whatever, we are always happy to answer them. So put your questions in the chat box and we will take it. So over to you, Subhra.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Navriti, and thank you, Dr. Gopanayak. Thank you for this good introduction. And hello, everyone. I am Shubhra Sharma. I'm co-manager at Campus France Delhi. And today I'd like to share, as Dr. Gopanayak shared with you, I'll be sharing about all the information about higher studies in France and how you can go there, all the procedures starting from scratch, as well as scholarships that you can avail as a student. So I'll start with the presentation quickly. And if you have any questions, any doubts during the presentation, you can always leave a question in the chat box and I'll take it up post the presentation. Okay. I hope the screen is visible to all.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yes.
Are French learners, and those of you who are not.
But there is a sound coming from your background.
I'll just start 1 second. These are the email addresses. Either you can take. I think there's some problem. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Il y a un problème avec la PPT. Yeah. Je sais pas. I cannot stop. Can you put yourself on mute? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can with your name.
No, like, is the presentation visible to you all?
No, Shubhra, it's not.
Oh, just a second. I'm so sorry. There's some technical glitch. So, now, talking about your France, most of you, I've heard that you are French learners. What the hell?
Turn this off.
Yes, we can see your screen now.
Oh, yes, the screen is visible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
okay.
you have to just make it slide so that we can see.
It's not coming as slideshow, unfortunately. That's what I was trying. Is it visible? Like, is it legible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you read whatever information is there on the screen?
Yes, perfect. Carry on. If it cannot be slideshow, that's fine.
Extremely sorry for this goof up. There's some technical glitch which I cannot really take care of at the moment. But not to waste more of time, I'll just start with the presentation. And so, Bienvenue en France, that's what we call when we welcome students to France. And just to tell all the students, either French learners or who are not French learners, France welcomes all kinds of students. And even if you're not a French learner, you can be a student in France. You can study whichever field you want to study. You can study any sort of topic in France. And if you wish to learn French language while being a student in France, that is also possible for you. Moving ahead, well, I'm going to tell you in brief about what Campus France is. So Campus France is a government agency that operates under French Ministry of External Affairs, and there are approximately 13 offices all across India, which means that even if you're a student currently somewhere in Delhi NCR, or if you're a student somewhere else in India, you can always approach the nearest Campus France office and you can seek help from the Campus France manager over there. And we help you from scratch, starting from the counseling sessions. If you need, what kind of program you should be selecting, what kind of universities you can approach, how to go about it, how should be the procedure and the process of applying to these institutions in France, what would be the visa process, all of it. If you need help with it, you have to approach Campus France manager. If you can see on the screen, that's President Emmanuel Macron. And this was the picture which was taken in March 2018 when he visited India. And during that time, he signed a few agreements with Indian government. And all of these agreements included economic sector, political sector, cultural sector, science and tech sector. And one big thing which would interest you would be the education sector, which was one of the agreements which said that all the academic qualifications would be mutually recognized in both the countries. That means if you have completed a part of your education in India, your degree would be considered in France if you go for higher education. For instance, I'll be explaining you about the recognition of degrees. So what we call CBSE, SSC, the grade 12 here in India, that's equivalent to baccalaureate in France, which means if you complete your grade 12 here, you can always go for your bachelor's degree in France and that would be recognized. If you finish your bachelor degree in France and you wish to come back to India and let's say pursue your master's studies in India, again, both of these degrees would be recognized in both the countries. So baccalaureate is equivalent to grade 12, bachelor's is equivalent to licence, master's degree in both the countries is for 1 to 2 years, and PhD in India is for 3 to 5 years. However, doctorate in France is strictly for 3 years. And all of these degrees, as I mentioned, are recognized in both the countries. So if you wish to, let's say, work post completion of any of these degrees, you can work easily in either of the countries. Talking about the universities in France, well, there are specialized schools, there are schools for management, there are schools for engineering, there's architecture school, there are doctoral research degrees which are provided to Indian students, and all of these are available to all the students. So France is one country which does not really focus on your past, I mean, that much. So even if you wish to change your field of study, you can do that very easily. Let's say, just giving you an example, even if you're pursuing, let's say, social sciences or some language program at the moment, and one day you decide to pursue culinary arts or filmmaking, you can easily shift your field. You just need to have high and strong motivations to do that. Moving on, the benefits that you get as a student in France. So first of all, you get subsidized tuition fee. So whatever would be the tuition fee for a French native, that would be the same for any foreign national, whether you go to a private institution in France or a public university. You also get reimbursements on your rent. That's something called CAF, which means at which you get about 30% of your rent back in your bank account. There are housing supports, which is called cruise. And also, when you go to France as a student, you are allowed to work part-time for up to 19.5 hours each week. The only condition is that you're not allowed to work during your study time. So you can either work on weekends, you can either work in evenings, but you are allowed. And this work permit is given to you from day one. So the day you arrive in France, you're allowed to start working part-time from that day onwards. And also, if you have your student ID card, you can always have discounts in cafes, libraries, museums, cafeterias. So at all of these places, you can avail these discounts and the benefits that you can have as a student. Well, to compare the tuition fee with other countries, France costs way too less as compared to any of the countries which offer higher studies to students. And even the cost of living is comparatively less in France. Now, there are two kind of institutions. These establishments are divided into categories: public universities and private institutions. So in case of public university, you have to go through Campus France, which means your application process begins from Campus France itself. I'll be telling it in detail about this one topic in the next slide. And talking about private institutions, well, you can apply directly. So you can apply to as many private institutions as you want. Once you receive an acceptance letter from one of them, then Campus France comes into picture, which means for your visa process, you have to contact Campus France after receiving an acceptance from one of the institutions. Coming to public universities, well, the application to public universities goes through Campus France, where you have to create your profile on Campus France website. You have to upload your CV, SOP, and all the educational documents starting from grade 12 till present day. And the benefit that you get is that you can select up to 7 programs with just one application. Yeah. So that means these 7 programs could be in the same university or they could be in different universities. but maximum of 7 programs with just one application. You pay just one time CF fee, and post that you have your interview with a CF manager, and after that you can receive your results. That's how you go through campus runs for an application to public universities. And just to let you know, for any student who wishes to apply to any of the public universities at the moment, which means for September 2021 intake, the application period is on at the moment. So it is on until March 5th. So anyone who wishes to apply can get in touch with us and we can tell you the entire procedure, and you can apply before March 5th of this year. Moving on, scholarships. So we all understand that, once you decide to go to any of the foreign countries, students do think of having some financial aid. So just to support you all with that, there are various scholarships which are offered to Indian students by French government and also by institutions. There are various scholarships. You can see that there's French government scholarship, co-finance scholarships, school scholarships. Now these are institutional scholarships, and there are other benefits also given as scholarships or financial aid to the students. Talking about scholarships, major ones are, it's Chartpak scholarship, there's Chartpak Lab, Chartpak Masters, and all of these more or less give you 700 to 800 euros as your monthly stipend. So that's your monthly expense which is given to you, and there is a bit of fee waiver as well, which does help a lot to any of the students who wishes to study in France. Now, moving on to the job opportunities. Well, of course, we understand that, once you complete your education in France, you would seek job. Now, you can always decide to work in France itself, or you can always decide to come back to India and work here. So just to help you there and just to give you a wider picture, there are a lot of job opportunities in India. And to talk about it, there are about 1,000 French companies which are present here in India itself. And some of them are mentioned on the screen. Like, we can talk about Renault. I'm sure many of you would be aware about it. L'Oreal is one of the famous companies. It's one of the most famous brands over here. Decathlon, Michelin, all of these are present in India, and you can always work at one of these companies in India itself. And one benefit of studying in France and then being able to work at one of these companies is being the French alumni. So you can always join the France Alumni Network, which means that once you've completed a part of your education in France, you automatically become a France alumni. And whenever these companies, which I talked about, have any job vacancy, the priority is given to French alumni. So if you have completed your education in France, be it bachelor's, be it master's, be it PhD, or any other sort of degree, you can always be part of this network. And that way it would help you to seek job, to be at a priority for these companies, and they will definitely interview you first as compared to any other student or any other candidate. Moving on, the benefit of speaking French. Well, obviously it can help you not just in India but in France as well. If you go there and let's say you decide to study an English taught program, it's completely fine. French is not mandatory. However, it is always recommended that you speak a bit of French because it helps you in the long run. When you seek internships during your program or when you look for a job in France itself, at that point of time, your French language knowledge comes handy. And also you become an asset for your employer because obviously you would have gained skills by then. And of course, if you speak French and English, you become an asset. Any employer would want to retain you as an employee in their company. So it is helpful. And also, when you are in a French speaking country, you would want to interact with people over there. You would step out of your house, you would interact with people, maybe to buy groceries or for general communication. So learning French is beneficial there. Now, the benefits that you get as a student and person who has completed their education. So there are two types of visas which are provided to you post completion of your studies. So one is 2-year extended visa, which is given on 1+1 basis to Indians, and this visa is given so that you can look for a full-time job. And during this time, you can always retain your student work permit, which means you can still work for 19.5 hours every week, which is part-time, and at the same time you can look out for full-time jobs. And there is another sort of visa, which is 5-year alumni visa, which is given for 5 years straight away. And under this, you can go to France for 90 days of every 90 days. And during this time also, either you can travel or you can look for jobs. So that is allowed. Now, talking about the way how you can reach us or how you can get in touch with the universities which are present in France or the private institutions which are there in France. So there are two ways. One, you can always approach a Campus France manager, which I already said at the beginning of this presentation. You can reach out to the nearest one. I'm sure Dr. Navrit would be sharing my email address with you all. So you can always write to us. And another way is this Choose France tour, which we conduct every year. So this time it's in February, at the end of February on 26th and 27th. It's a free event and about 40 institutions would be participating, which means if you have a particular institution in your mind, or if you have, let's say, a particular program in mind, you can interact with the representative of that particular institute and you can clear out all your queries. Of course, you can always reach out to the Campus France manager and we can help you with it. But this is one opportunity where you can interact with the person from the school itself. And as I mentioned, it's absolutely free. So you can register and have that interaction with the institution. Once you're done with that, we will be at your disposal again, and you can reach out to the Campus France managers as well. The link is mentioned here for your registration if you wish to register, or else I will share it post the presentation as well with you all. This is the Campus France app that we have. You can always keep this in your phone. It'll be handy for you because not just for this event, but otherwise as well, if you want to have information about Campus France or such events happening, it is always updated on this app. Also, you can follow us on Instagram or Facebook if you wish to have information which is available to you immediately. So these are some social media app platforms where you can reach out to us. And this is the email address where you can reach out. If you wish to take photograph of this, you can, or else I can share it in the chat box. And now I will be taking your questions. And I hope you have understood, the entire thing which I wanted to explain to you.
Thank you, Subhra. I think the first thing that should be noted is that 5th March is the last date for application to French universities for the coming session. So that's a very important date. And the next important thing is to download the app so that you can get easy access to information and any other help that could be needed for your application process. So these two things I thought I should highlight, and then I will give it to the students for if there is any questions, please unmute yourself and ask. Otherwise, you can put your questions in the chat box for Subhra to take. Otherwise, Subhra, I think thanks a lot for coming and talking to our students. And I'm sure this video will be watched by many people and they will get back to you. You will get a lot of queries from the university, that much I can assure you. Yes, questions, please, anyone?
I think I'll share my email address in the chat box. In case students want to write later on, they can always do that.
Maybe Shubhra, I can just ask a question on behalf of the students. Si par exemple, ils veulent améliorer leur français, they want to improve their French. I mean, of course, they're going to study, mais en même temps, ils veulent avoir un diplôme, a degree or a diploma from the university. Donc, c'est jusqu'à quel niveau? A2, BE, B2, and how do they go about giving exams simultaneously? Because I'm sure what is very important for the students also they look forward is to improve their French, not just through oral, but also have a good command in terms of reading, writing, and everything. So simultaneously with their course, if they
Mhm.
want to do it in the university itself, it's still what level and how does it work?
So, first of all, well, to improve their French, there are various sources like online resources which are available. I understand they're all studying French language, but there are some things called TV5 Monde. There is RFI, which is the radio, and even if you put online resources, there are a lot of things where students can have their comprehension oral and they can practice French.
No, but
And
then, suppose they're doing an engineering or a management. So within the university, they have an opportunity to do a language, or separately they have to join another institution in France.
so no, when they are in France, most of the institutions offer that optional classes for French language itself. So even if they're pursuing, let's say, as you mentioned, engineering or management programs, there's one optional classes which is given only for French language.
Within
So
the
it
university.
is mandatory for students to take it up, and post that it's up to them whether they want to pursue it or not. We always recommend our students to take up French language classes because after their first year or second year, they always have to get internships, and irrespective of their programs, an internship interview would happen in French language. They would have to interact with employers who are French. They would have to interact with their colleagues, even if they are not in public dealing, but they would be interacting with French people every day. They would still be interacting among their office, right, with their office people. So
So the
French
students will
language,
definitely have an option along with their management and other courses to take
yes,
language as a. Okay. That's
yes, of course it is there. And also, right now itself, students can have this option of having online classes also. I mean, due to COVID anyway, many of the institutions resorted to online classes, but there are many options available for students, where they can study uh, at distance also, and they can have second semester in France.
yeah.
That option is also available.
Okay. Yes. Là, si vous avez des questions, if you have any questions to Madame Shubra, please post your questions in the chat box.
No worries, Navriti. I think Subhra has already given her email ID, so students can ask her the questions. So I think without wasting her time and our time, we should call it a day. And may I request all students to get in touch with Subhra if you are interested in any information regarding your foreign studies, or any information in getting your French exams, or any information in getting the access to these online resources, or anything at all. You can always communicate with us. With that, thank you, Subhra. Navriti, I think you should also formally thank Shubhra, because she has been in touch with you. And Shubhra, nice to see you again.
It was wonderful meeting
And
you
we
guys.
will see more of you. Yes.
Sure.
Merci Shubhra, merci Professor Gopa, and thank you so much students for coming and joining us, and it was a very fruitful session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you, students. And do realize that without you, none of our programs will work. So please participate in these programs so that we can get more and more things from you. I know you all are, we all are, I mean, not you, but we all are going through a very, very difficult phase, due to the pandemic. But I think we have come out stronger in that. And I wish all of you all the best of courage and enthusiasm to take through this semester and forward. So thanks, Navriti, for a good start to this semester. And thank you, students, for making it a success for us and giving us hope and encouragement. Thank you, Subhra.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Bye.
So Navriti, I will leave you with your students to carry on with the class. Bye for now.